So yeah, the place we're going to call it is Siolta Chroi, so seeds of the heart. The tagline is going to be regenerating people and regenerating the land, the wider nature. Yeah, this place here is hopefully going to be accommodation. We're developing, yeah, we're going to hopefully develop it into accommodation space. So we're hoping to direct here, have a few ponds here to develop, to capture sort of biodiversity, but then the waste treatment will go into reed bed systems and willows and natural systems that will purify the water, so that anything that's coming through is as clean and as purified as possible. Treat all the toxins out of it, and then from that then I move into another pond, and there's willow trees which are basically good at sucking up. So then this is the house part. So then we've got this old shed, so we're focusing on, it's quite a big shed. We're hoping to renovate into the education workshop space. So we're going to put a timber frame shed inside of it and then use natural buildings, so straw bale or hemp to as the walls for the insulation too. So it'll be timber frame infilled with straw bale or cob, and naturally. So then here will be it'll be divided into yoga studio and education space. So we're hoping to reseed this into more just a biodiverse mixture, because again that's just very monoculture. I've got 2 alpacas. I'm putting in a mix of that'll be good for the alpacas, and then also for wild bees, insects and all that too. So that's what this area is going to be. So the plan is that people will be able to drive up here and park in here. Yeah, as you say, team building, maybe activities for organisations. The grass has really boomed in the last 2 weeks, so it's not as noticeable. That's going to be a big pond. And again, the idea for water storage and biodiversity. So yeah, so you've got your tree, then your fruit bush, and then your edible crops to focus on too. So these are all the edible trees. These are all the sort of hazelnuts, and then in here these are all fruit trees in here. The outside is all going to be all native Irish trees, which will be a wind block, and then the inside is going to be the food forest. They'll be hugged. The food part will be hugged on the outskirts of the native stuff. From a food system, a sustainable food system, the idea is they'd ripe at different times. So you'd have different things you'd have stuff that'd ripen at different times of the year, so that you constantly got a steady supply of something. So when one thing's in, when one's not. These are all acorns from the Phoenix Park. Very tiny, they're only a year old. This building, there's about 20 there. But then in you come back here in 10 years, there'll probably be only 10. And then, yeah, and to start out compete. And then you come back in 50 years, there'll probably only be 5 trees, and then 200 years there'll be 2, just massive oak trees. So we've got, we're going to try and create a tree nursery. Gail is the forest people, so we're the forest people without a forest, because Ireland used to be 80% forest, and then through colonialism, the British rule and that, they butchered and cut down so many trees. So now Ireland's got the lowest forest cover in Europe. There's 1,000 acorns in here, and there's 750 hawthorn seeds in here. And what we're hoping to do here is work with farmers, because if we could get them sort of reforest and planting, and taking on this model of planting trees, but also sustainable food systems, but also getting returns on the plants. These are all cob nut trees as well, they're hazelnuts. What we're doing, he gave me 80 fruit trees, and we planted them all here. And in August, we're going to do a tree grafting workshop. So he's going to run a course on tree grafting, which, to sort of propagate other fruit trees. So they were the first ones we planted here. We're only here a couple of months. Yeah. I think that's an oak, yeah. We were losing some of them, a lot of them for hares were coming and eating a lot of them. So this was a quick makeshift job to try and give them a bit of protection from the hares. Yeah. Just a bit of protection. Yeah, he was saying that would give it a bit more of it gives it a bit of shelter, and it gives it a bit of a greenhouse effect. Alder fixes nitrogen from the air. So rather than having to supply artificial fertilizer, there's certain plants, what to do is to pull it from the ground and to put it into the soil. So ideally it's something around 20 to 30% of the whole space should just be nitrogen fixers. So it's not necessarily that you're going to be eating anything off them. Their sole purpose is to feed the soil. And so you'd plant, say, the nitrogen fixer there and maybe a fruit tree there, and the fruit tree's eating the nitrogen off that. We look at things very linear, like this is like in 2D, this is the space we have to work with, and that's what you've got to do. Like you've got 1.5 acres here, but an agroforestry system would be much more like 3D. So you've not just got this, you've got the trees coming up here, and then you've got the fruit bushes, and you've got, like traditionally in the food forest system, there's 7 layers, and then you can intermix that. Then we'll hopefully have chickens, and the idea that the chickens will be able to come around. They'll be supplying eggs, but they'll be also eating away the grass and getting their food and giving the trees a bit of space, and then basically crapping onto them and feeding the soil. Alpacas are really good for keeping foxes away. A lot of people in Ireland keep alpacas because they're not aggressive at all, so I don't know why they do it, but if a fox comes in, they'll run over, and I think it must just be out of curiosity. So that's one reason why the alpacas, and then also just like there's like a big electric netting that gives them space, and then the idea that there's a thing called a chicken tractor, that they've got their protection, but you don't, if you leave them on the one place, they'll kill that ground and it'll be over fertilized. So the idea is that a chicken tractor is a portable chicken coop, so that you've got to give them fresh grass every day. They eat that grass to feed the soil, but to do it all in moderation, so that's, and they've got the protection. Linked up with this guy, and he says so he's put his hives here, and the idea is that I'm hoping to basically shadow him and learn how to do it. Here's the 2 guys. They only eat the grass that they actually like, which isn't ideal, because then the ones that they don't eat become stronger, and that's how fields then become much more like weed, and then people come in and have to spray pesticides and herbicides. So it's ideally you'd have another animal come in, and they'd eat, or you'd only hold them in a very small pace, and they'd eat the grass, but then they'd also eat the other stuff. Essentially, this in years to come, this will be just a forest of food, and then you'll have the paths in so people can come, and then you'll have just like be booming sort of biodiversity, and then the idea that we're hoping then to be able then to work with farmers to sort of how they can do similar things in their land to regenerate their land.